easier to pronounce. So
we have no viewers though. Just have to wait a second for them to start coming in.
In their role. I might plug it on my personal thing.
Well, I've retweeted
The masses commence.
Bear in mind, Santos Fagopoulos is getting a lot of airing time in my season job forms and interviews. So
I think last time we had 90 viewers at the same time. It's quite remarkable, you know.
I don't think we know. Did we?
Yeah, it was AFCON madness back then. Yeah.
Yes, and
so we've still got none. This is going to look great, like, because all this gets archived. It's all going to be there for posterity.
It shows we're not really professional. We're just here to have fun.
Exactly.
yeah, so
Get the knowledge.
That is our brand, isn't it? Not
to have probably some problems with other people, obviously, as usual. But that's another matter.
As soon as we start getting some viewers in, is that enough to start the discussion?
Yes,
Yeah.
always ready, to be honest.
Right. Okay.
What they want.
Well, we'll obviously just with Bay then. Yeah. Look like they're on the way to Russia. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Results were from Guinea beat Libya 3-2. Last minute winner there, despite Libya's late comeback. Oh, I remember that one. That was absolutely crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes, it was.
it was.
Tunisia
But
beat
some people say
Congo.
that they even scored. Actually, they don't. Some people, I talk with some journalists, some Libyan journalists. They say that Guinea even didn't score their third goal. Actually, so there's quite a big problem surrounding this game. Even though it has been, I think it has been official that the game ended 3-2. But some people say that they didn't even score because they had a problem in broadcasting, and even some people in the stadium say that there was no goal. So at the moment, I think it has been the game has been awarded 3-2 for Guinea in Conakry. So I think yes, but it's quite remarkable to have. We are in 2017, and we have still this kind of controversies and on problems.
What do you mean there was no goal? What was it, like a dodgy decision or something?
Yes, some a good Libyan journal even told me that they didn't even score a goal. It was quite a mix-up in the box in Libya's box because after leveling, Guinea put pressure on Libya, and something something happened, and they awarded the goal. But I think he's saying this because he's disappointed, but because nobody has images of the third goal scored by Guinea actually also. So
I love it.
So
it's like pure. This is pure African football, isn't it?
Yeah.
As you know, pure African football will be so grainy that no one can confirm if
That's one hell of a conspiracy.
Man in the account, because whoever was manning the account put down that it was full-time a draw, and then
it was what happened. It was me, and what happened is I did a Chris Kamara, where I was watching other games, and I looked at the Guinea game, and I just saw fans were kind of a bit dispirited. So I thought, okay, this game is over. It's 2-2, and then I confirmed that, and then most people replied, said, no, it's actually Guinea scored.
Damaging our reputation.
That
is. Because it was, in general, a crazy weekend. We were like having like 4 games at once, which I thought was really bad scheduling by CAF. But to be fair to them, they didn't have any other many games overlapping in that first match day. It was just on that second match day. There were so many good games at once. It was so hard to keep up.
But Guinea and Libya then played again, and Libya won.
Libya
So
won,
both those teams are now out. But I want to talk about Naby Keita because he had a very good first game.
Yes, yeah.
Since we've last met, he's on his way to Liverpool next summer. Big money. Could have gone this summer, but Red Bull Leipzig kept hold of him.
Yeah.
Again, suddenly he seems a bit more energized in the Guinea team as well. And they've got some good young talent coming through. Can he lead that team on to a good performance in the next AFCON?
I think personally that more of a, now they will have Guinea will have, as you said about AFCON, I think they will have less difficulties to qualify with the formidable format which will be applied starting from next edition. Naby Keita, yes, he completely worked on Libya. To be fair, in Conakry, he cut the defense like a hot knife in butter, you know. So it was pretty remarkable, you know, and it was personally was pretty pleased and pretty surprised, and it was heartwarming to see a player playing, having a formidable performance under his country's jersey. And yes, and the game in Conakry, I think Guinea could have won the game 5 or 6 or 7-0, to be honest, at halftime, because they were so dominant in the first half. It was pretty good technically and tactically. There was a real collective force which was possible to see. It was possible to see it. You had also the François Camano, the winger of Bordeaux, who was there. You had also, yes, you had this player, and as you know, they are still waiting for Amadou Diawara of Napoli, who is still considering playing for them or Italy, because he's on Italy's radar also. And yes, the first game was was completely dominated by Guinea, obviously, but weirdly they conceded two quick goals, I think, against Libya, and they put themselves, because they had the game in their hands, they put themselves in a very tough situation, and they reportedly, I would say, won it in the last second of the last minute of the game. So yes, and now and for the return game, it was a dual affair till I think till El Ahli Tripoli's winger Hamdoul Masri found the net of Nabi Moussa Kamara, who seems to be there as much as, for instance, Kosi Agassa or Emmanuel Adebayor. He's as old as them. To be honest, he's around since ages, and Libya won it, and now both teams will be yes, they won't play for anything, and now they will play for glory, if we can say that, and yes, now they will decide the ticket for the World Cup after the double game between Tunisia and the Congo during the same time.
Yeah, just to add what Doctor was saying, they were really good in the first half, especially, and the whole game is based around Naby Keita. As I said, he can make them really raise their level. So, I mean, if you compare the other players to Naby Keita, they're just on a different, lower level.
Yeah.
But he really plays well, and you can see they raise their game as a result of that. But the main worry which came out in that Libya defense, and historically it's always been the worry for Guinea, it's just a very weak defense, which means they can go from very dominant up 2-0, and you kind of stop watching the game thinking this is over. Then suddenly they concede 2 goals in 2 minutes. They can get from that level of quality to mediocrity in a split second. So they will definitely be qualifying for Cup of Nations in the coming years, especially with the expanded format. But it will just be, I don't think they'll go up to that level where they'll actually go on and win it or go on a run because they have a very weak defense.
But I think, yes, go on.
So I know it's quite exciting just to see in Naby Keita an African centre midfielder who's not just there to sort of block and tackle. Really, he's obviously a very talented man going forward. He's sort of I'm reluctant to compare him to Yaya Toure because that's where it's lazy and kind of not particularly accurate. But we haven't really seen many central midfielders in Africa can really take the game by scruff of the neck in the offensive third. So it's very exciting, and to have a player like him to build a team around is pretty amazing, really.
Yes, and they are waiting also for Amadou Diawara of Napoli, who is also very, very good. Who is pretty young. I think he was born in '97, and if they can field the Diawara Naby Keita midfield, I think. The future of Guinea could be exciting because they have also some fine players. They have Horia Conakry, striker Sekou Amadou Trezeguet Camara. They have also Yamoudou Touré of Horia Conakry also, who are some promising attackers. So yes, they have. But as Salim said, they have some problem again in their defense and even for their goalkeeping position, and it was also weird, I think, to not see Abdulaziz Keita of Bultkon, who was playing for years and years and years in Guinea, who was not starting, and it was Nabi Moussa Keita Yatara, who was starting, although he's playing in French 5th division, something like this. It was quite a strange choice. I think he's not even professional, he doesn't look at all professional, he's now even chubbier than in the past. So now, yes, he's 32 and he's now playing for pleasure in a certain way. And so it was also, personally, I think it was the weirdest choice of Lape Bangura. Personally, I would have completely put Abdulaziz Keita of Bultkon FC, who's playing in Zambia, after years of wasting his talent with all my respect for this beautiful country of Guinea and these great people and league, he was wasting his time there. And now yes, he should have been there. But yes, I think the future, as Salim said again, they will qualify, I think, pretty easily for the upcoming AFCONs. But for World Cup, it will be they are still, I would say, a rank behind the big boys and the big wigs and however you can call them.
I wonder what happened to the big boy. Not the big boy. I mean, I can't remember. I remember 59 compilation when like Ibrahim Traore and Kevin Constant and the Pogba brothers and stuff. But are they in international exile? Do they not like the manager or something? Or?
Yes, he has problems, but I think he will get back because this. Ibrahim Traore, even if he's a formidable footballer loved by Joe knows because he gives interviews, etc. I think he's this kind of African players. They retire one day, tomorrow they are back in their 80s. I think it's quite a ridiculous situation. They are undecided people. They are always on the fence. They don't know what to do, and it's quite because you see the excuses. We had an example. I think we'll talk about that later. The excuses we see sometimes, for instance, to avoid playing games like we saw with the Ayoub brothers. And even for this player who is well loved by journalists, etc., Ibrahim Traore. So yes, I think he's this kind of player, and it's sad because he's a formidable footballer. He's not a headless chicken or whatever. He has good ideas. He's smart with the ball, and he's technically quite remarkable also.
Shall we move on to talk about we're going to do Tunisia and Deputy on Congo. Tunisia got the win in the first game at home, and then 2-2 draw away, which pretty much means that Tunisia have to really fuck it up to not qualify from here. Get away to Guinea next in Conakry, and then at home to Libya in November. DR Congo 3 points behind. There's 2 games to go. They've got to play Libya and then Guinea. Looks like Tunisia are probably going to be going to Russia, but you never know. I remain hopeful that DRC can pull it out. Although, I'm not sure it's going to happen this time. Then they're going to need other results to go their way because they're going to win both games and not make it.
DRC would be absolutely amazing at the World Cup. They would win the hearts and minds of many fans just through. I mean, they would do a lot of good for the sort of reputation of African football. I think they would be really fun, and they would get absolutely destroyed. It would be just that much. Than everyone running forward against like a decent, half decent European team, they would get picked off at will. Great statement there, I think.
Yeah, I think everyone's been really surprised by how that's turned out. Really, I mean, we've seen DRC; they've always been really good going forwards. But I think what we don't factor in is how bad they can be at the back.
Yeah.
They just don't have any defenders, do they?
Yeah, they just don't really have any defenders. And when you meet, I mean, Tunisia always get a lot of stick, some for the right reasons, some for the wrong reasons. but I think what they are is they are disciplined. They can field out a team which will be niggly and defend and have a little bit of attacking quality as well. They won't be fun to watch, but they do have guys like Sakni and Ben Amour who really perform in the big games. And Balbouli, actually, he's been really good, I think, in the big games over the last 5 years or so. So they've got a really strong spine, I think, which they can always depend on in these big games. And this is why we see them kind of punch above their weight. I think Tunisia do always punch above their weight if you consider their population is not very high. It's just a couple of million. So they're definitely one of the smaller African nations. And when you compare their population size and what they achieve, I think it's quite a story.
Yes, I think personally, I saw both games. The first game to be honest, and without disrespect for the black African Ancelotti and his boys, I think we should have won 5 or 6-1, to be honest. But we put our but we missed an incredible number of chances, and after that an unusual clanger from our defenders, and Abdeno wasn't there, and so that's quite remarkable. A clanger put them back in the game, thanks to Bakambu scored, tucked it in the net, and then just after the second half, we scored the second goal, and then we decided to defend at home, and it was a pretty it was pretty old, and we could have added 3 or 4 more, to be fair. The second game, to be honest, was I think the second game is probably the first time, I would say, since 6 or 7 years we got finally Tunisian football fans had emotions for this national team, because we only had even if we had some wins in the previous years. I think we had in Kinshasa a proper moment of emotions and big feelings. The things why you watch football for. Because it started absolutely. It was a disastrous start. We had 5 defenders. We started with 5 defenders. It was clear that we were here for the draw, and with 5 defenders on every set piece. People were sweating like a gypsy with a mortgage. And And every time on every set piece, for instance, the first set piece, I think they scored a goal. It was well taken by I would say, I think it was Kakuta, the French, let's call a spade, the French national team reject, and who put it on, I think, Mbemba's head, and he scored. After that, Congo put pressure also, and they scored the second just after the second half. And then after that, we started playing with 4 in the back. We get back to our tactic from the first half, from the first leg in a certain way, and we started to dominate and create chances. Starting from the 16th minute, and then in 2 minutes we managed to get a miraculous draw, and yes, and we could even have won it, because we had two chances at the end of the game to win it and to probably book our seat and our ticket for the World Cup in Vladimir Putin's country. But to be fair, we had, I think it could be a turning point for this generation of player, because they were lacking this game, quite a very emotive game like this, because they were 2-0 down in front of reports said that there were 80,000. I think there were 100,000, I think, in the stadium in Stade des Martyrs. And they were 2-0 down, and they managed to get a draw and could have even win it. I think it could be a turning point for this generation, which was lacking definitely, because we were close against Equatorial Guinea. We were eliminated against Burkina Faso, and etc. in the past years. So I think, yes, I hope it could be a turning point for this generation, who is probably who is quite talented technically, and you have also a new wave of player which is coming. So I think, yes, I hope it could be the turning point for this generation and for our national team. And now there are 2 games left, and the players and even the coach is say that nothing is done yet. We have done a big step towards Russia, but nothing is done yet. We'll have also to send our fans to support Libya against DR Congo, because the game will be played in Tunisia, God willing, obviously. So we'll have to support our Libyan brothers to make something great, and we'll have also to play an already eliminated Guinea, but nothing is done, obviously, because as you said, James, we have we have this quality to fuck up a very easy situation, as I said in the previous podcast. So to be fair, till we are not in Russia with all our bags, etc., I think I won't believe that we are qualified for World Cup. So we could die in the plane, or the plane could land in another country. So till we are not in Russia, I won't. So yes, but till we are not in Russia, till it's not done. And also, he was pretty disappointed, I would say, by even if he scored by Cedric Bakambu, obviously. Even if he scored, to be honest, he was absolutely he was pretty silent, especially in the second game against us in Kinshasa in the hell of Stade des Martyrs. He was pretty disappointing. I was also disappointed by some of our players. I was disappointed by Thais El Khnisi also, especially on the first leg. Even if on the first leg I was disappointed by him. And I think, yes, and it was quite against both games for a moment were quite against the usual African game scenario, because for 30 minutes, for instance, in Kinshasa, we were dominating the home side, and it was personally I was gobsmacked. I was absolutely surprised to see that, because for the last 30 minutes we had the ball, etc., and we were pushing to get a miraculous goal and another more miraculous leveler. And and for instance, and even in Tunis, in Rades, DR Congo had also this kind of moment in the last 30 minutes. They dominated after we scored the second goal because Nabil Ma'loul went on full bunker mode just after scoring the second goal, and that's quite a coward attitude, especially at home, I think. And even Florent Bengue, even Florent Bengue did that. He got full bunker mode in our game when we were leading 2-1, as if it was a formidable result to lose away, especially in this case. And by the way, I will I apologize for the prediction I did in the previous podcast. I said that Congo were going to throw us a new asshole, but finally it didn't happen. Actually, we stood strong, and we managed to get a priceless point there in Kinshasa, and which I hope will be a turning point for this generation, and I hope it will be it won't be like against Nigeria in 2009, even if the situation is totally different. And I hope we obviously will finish the job as I hope. Yes, I hope we'll finish the job by good grace and give us some emotions after years of mediocrity, of minimalist football, of many things like this. And I hope it would be formidable for the country.
And Lotfi, don't forget all the journalists.
Yes, yeah. Weirdly, I didn't see a single word, but I'm not surprised at all. I didn't see a single word saying that our comeback was formidable, etc. But and to be fair, it should have been a wank fest. Actually, this game should have been a wank fest because it was between two formidable and world-class African coaches. Actually, it should have been a wank fest. But weirdly, nothing happened. It should have been a wank fest, but nothing happened. But weird, and also yes, no words was said on our comeback, and even on our win against which should and could have been which could and should have been a thrashing in Rades. But we are used to such things. You have some countries on which journals and whatever fans are wonking, etc. And you have those countries who are like Tunisia, for instance, and it's not even victimization or whatever, who are just who no one's care about. They're not very excited. No one cares about, for instance, Tunisia, etc. So yes, it's cool. And to be fair, it's not so bad to be in the shadows and behind the scenes. So because many people were I would say were predicting that Congo would trounce us in the port of Kinshasa. Even if it was on this, it could have been this way, to be fair. But at the end, it didn't happen, and the same people are also very quiet, and now we have our own fates in our hands, and it's up to us to finish the job, and why not hoping from a present for our Libyan brothers in Monastir against DR Congo, and I wish and I hope many fans will go and cheer them to support them in their very important game against DR Congo to restore Libya's pride and Tunisia, and to give Tunisia the ticket for the World Cup also.
Okay, I think we're going to move on for a while. It's quite interesting because it's the one with two of the big nations, the most successful nations, who aren't going to be going to the World Cup, namely Cameroon and Algeria. First up, Nigeria annihilated 4-0. Fantastic performance by the Super Eagles.
Yeah.
Dreadful performance by the African champions, who have not looked as good since. Hugo Bruce still coached somehow. Amazing by African standards that he didn't get the sack after that. And then 1-1 draw, Abubakar's penalty saving a point, which is academic because they're out anyway. So far, Nigeria looking good. Zambia have just about kept over there because they did the double over Algeria, which is, I must admit, I missed that one.
Yeah.
That was a big shock. And given how bad Zambia have been for so long, how good Algeria have been for most of the time, other than big tournaments.
Yeah, you have to say Zambia were excellent, really. They were probably the team of the rounds. They're the only team, I think, who got 6 points. Correct me.
Yeah, they are, yeah. With Cape Verde.
Yeah, with Cape Verde. So they were the only team, which, given they had to go to Algeria, who haven't lost at home for a decade, and then, this isn't like beating them over 2 months or 3 months. It's beating them in the space of a couple of days within a week, which is seriously impressive given that they've had to rebuild that team. The only senior members of that team were Sunzu and Mwene. And then the other players were largely youngsters. I think Lungu played a part as well. But most of them were just youngsters or unknown players. But Patson Daka, I think he was probably one of the players of the match days as well. He was excellent. Brian Wheeler was really good with his goals. So Algeria haven't been great, but I think Zambia do deserve a lot of credit. You don't stop a good European team or a good team with a lot of European-based players just like that. You have to have some kind of resolve. You have to defend well. And they really did that, I think, over the 2 legs. And they did, they had their moments of luck, but I think you always need those moments of luck. As for Algeria, it's just, I've always been a bit skeptical about how strong they are. They've always had a very strong attack, but at the back, it just all seems to be falling apart. They've used 4 different defenses over their 4 matches, which tells the whole story, really, because
as many managers have had over the course of the campaign as well. Who was Alcaraz?
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ. They've been a total mess. So I think they only have themselves to blame. The Mahrez ordeal was just, again, unless he knew that there was a move on, it doesn't really make sense for him to go all the way to Europe.
Apparently the club told him that it was, and then it didn't go through. He's really annoyed at the moment.
Yeah, but again, Algeria have a lot of thinking to do. I think, especially at the back, they need to have a coach who, not just an average coach. And Alcaraz, by all accounts, was just a very average or below average coach in Spain. And unfortunately, the African Federation has always seemed to go for these kind of coaches. I'd rather go for a complete unknown, to be honest, than who's got a bit of potential, someone like Johnny McKinstry, for example, than someone like Mark Wilmots or this Alcaraz, who they're very average coaches. They've failed in Europe already, and they're just coming to Africa to lower what's already there. They're not adding much to the game.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's just really sad, I think. Algeria is such, I agree, I was sort of a bit skeptical about how good they were, but they were such a joy to watch. And just really go back to the 2014 World Cup when they were just sort of, they almost beat Germany in whatever it was in the second round. And then they had that kind of quite interesting experiment where they had Christian Gorky in charge. He did a good job as far as I can tell. He got them passing, and which is quite a rare sight to see in a club that often plays quite defensive football. But it was really nice to watch, and just ultimately wasn't quite pragmatic enough with the whole thing. As it stands, it's been absolute chaos. Just really sad to see. Like you say, they've got a wonderful attacking talent. You kind of normally in a lot of these games that will kind of see you through. They've got a really tough group, so I don't think anyone necessarily expected them to qualify given the complete upheaval. But I think it's just sad. Personally, I blame it on ever since they switched their kit manufacturer to Adidas. They used to have those lovely kits, and ever since they switched to Adidas, you gave them a terrible kit. It's just gone to shit, really. So, so there's a correlation there, if you ask me. But,
Yes, I think they need. I think I have the feeling that we are repeating ourselves on each podcast, because Algeria, as for instance Ghana, need the next appointment, because I don't think Alcaraz will stay much. Will be crucial again, because they have wasted. I think they have wasted almost a year, because by hiring George Likens, this man Alcaraz, who was before also Rajevac also. I think they have wasted time, and they are wasting a generation. And if you look properly, also Algeria, except beating Senegal in 2015, I think they have never beaten an African powerhouse in, if I'm not wrong, either in qualifiers or in the AFCONs. So yes, so I think also they have this problem of appointment, which will be crucial again, as we said during AFCON for Ghana and them and Ivory Coast. And they have this problem also. I don't know from where does it come, but they haven't managed to beat a proper African nation, because with all our respect for those formidable and beautiful countries like Lesotho, Mauritius, Ethiopia, etc. I agree it's formidable to beat them, to spank them, but they are just the punching balls of African football. They are getting spanked by everyone. So yes, there's nothing quite remarkable to do that. So yes, I personally I still can't find how probably tactically they are a bit under the rest of African football. Big boys, although the level is not formidable. I don't know, to be honest. I seriously don't know. And also credit to Zambia, as you said, which saw that they don't have much chances to qualify, so they ejected Yaf just after their success in World Cup, I think, under 20 World Cup. And yes, and they have probably one of the future best nines of African football, Patson Daka, who has been formidable. He's complete. I think he's neither a tree or neither a dragster. He's technically good in the air. He's good. He's quite fast also, and he's pretty young. So I think yes, for me he's one of the future best nines, and he's in a perfect club to learn, and in a country with less pressure than in the rest of Africa. So yes, the team could be serious. I think I think the potential is there, and I hope with a top coach, I think they can do great things. And I think we'll see. They will be probably a bit short for AFCON 2029. I think probably won't win it, but I think for the rest of the years coming, I think they will have their word to say in AFCON, because the potential is remarkable. You have Patson Daka, you have also the other one who is playing also in Spartak Moscow. Yes, you have this kind of player, and probably they are missing a keeper. Probably they will miss a keeper, because even if we love him, Kennedy Mwene is not eternal. He's not eternal.
And to be honest, he's starting to show his age now. Probably he was probably one of the weak points in Zambian defense. He did flap at a lot of crosses, and obviously he's not playing a lot at club level because of just not much game time. He was behind the pecking order because of Dennis Onyango, and he's never really gonna lose that number one spot for Zambia because of what he's done, and because he's relatively young as well, still for a goalkeeper. So he's got years in him, but he definitely has what we call a McDonald Harawa moment in.
We are missing him actually, McDonald Harawa and Malawi in general, and they're formidable just. Yes, Zambia, I hope, yes, for Algeria it will be crucial. Then Zambia, the future looks bright, actually, looks bright, yeah. for Zambia and Algeria. They have to find the solution as soon as possible because it could be a very sad cycle. It could be a very dark era if they don't manage to find an exit properly of this era. It could be a long era and dark era, and they won't see the end of it. Because like you remember what happened at the beginning of the century. When they had many problems, they were losing against everyone in Africa, and then they found the solution, and they could get back in this era if they don't find the solution soon and the good solution. Yeah.
That's true, because at the moment, when you look, every African team now, it's everyone says, "Oh, we've got a golden generation," blah blah blah. Not every team has a golden generation, but there are a lot of teams who can tap into their diaspora and produce a good quality of player, like Cape Verde, a good example. So, I mean, you definitely can't get away with just fielding a team that's organized, and we're seeing that with the Ivory Coast, definitely, because if you want a classic coach who just fields what he thinks is the best 11 and thinks they'll just do the job, it's Mark Wilmots. And you just see that that's not enough to just be winning games in Africa anymore. You will meet teams who know how to organize themselves and have a player who plays at a really good level, or a couple of players who play at an excellent level who can really hurt you.
Well, that's contracted, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's been the way for a long time as well. Like it's quite misleading to think you can just turn up and put the right players on the pitch and the results will come. Like you've seen time and time again that the teams with the most team spirit, who have the most stability and know each other the best, are the ones that tend to come through. And I think that's more so than a lot of world football actually as well. You can get if obviously teams like the Ivory Coast have got wonderful players and will get quite far based on that. But it's not tournament winning quality, and certainly for the World Cup as well. Like this isn't the stuff that's going to get them into the next round out of the group stage, which is ultimately the thing that they'll be wanting to do, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like a team like Tunisia is probably far more likely to do that than a Mark Wilmots led Ivory Coast, where he doesn't want to toss about any of the players.
I mean, even England, you could say England are exactly the same and have been for years. It's all pick the best players because they're the most well-known and get the best branding opportunities, whereas they're not the best team. And England hasn't found someone who's got the balls to do that.
Yeah.
The last manager to actually drop good players was Steve McLaren. He got slated for and got sacked.
Yeah, I mean,
and granted, because things turned south to them anyway. But
we can literally see it with Cameroon, though, with what they did. They didn't drop them specifically, but they dropped themselves. And, look what happened. I mean, I remember talking to Johnny McKinstry about this as well when he was after he left Sierra Leone. He was saying, you could tap into this diaspora and have these amazing players like Curtis Davis. And even if they not to do it because it would just disrupt the whole balance of the team.
Even if in the diaspora, actually, Cameroon don't have proper football players actually, because they have a huge diaspora, for instance, here in France, and it will be good also we could talk about this just after to make the link with Cameroon and Nigeria double encounter. They have this, contrary to many African countries, they have this diaspora, but they don't have any remarkable player. I think they probably have Jerome Ongene, who is playing in Stuttgart, but he's still playing with France. And they lost also Samuel Umtiti, who is now playing in Barcelona, I think. Yes, he's at Barcelona, and he lost, and they lost him. Yeah, he's playing for France. So they don't have, for instance, even in French youth teams, or even in other countries where there's the Cameroonian diaspora, they don't have, contrary, for instance, to Algeria or for instance Morocco, and even Mali or other African countries, they don't have those players in the diaspora who could make the proper difference and who are really football players actually.
In fairness, I mean, they did get taken apart by a good Nigeria side.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
And Nigeria seemed to be getting that blend back of the organisation, team spirit, and the ability, which was kind of always there, but wasn't always working in the right way, and they weren't quite picking the right balance of players. And they've had some of the right guys come through at the right time as well, but they will be in Iheanacho, who are going to be really good, I think. Both Moses is back on form.
Osmihen also is coming.
I mean, they really are like a joy to watch. I mean, this is one of the very few games I actually saw any of them, any of them in these qualifiers, to be honest. And that's just because I happened to be in a curry house, on a curry house in Tooting, which when I went, which was really what.
You're very hipster.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I had to kind of. I like to keep my romantic life, my football life separately, so I had to kind of face away from the football for. So concentrate on my food and have a nice time. But yeah, there's a very impressive player. They've got a wonderful group of players coming through. Manager Gunnar Rose, who's a really they've gone through so much turmoil and kind of endless political problems, endless managers, and it's great to see a good bunch of players who want to play for Nigeria, and they're relatively stable. I don't want to sort of tempt fate or anything, but they're relatively stable. And this is the sort of conditions you need to kind of really propel them forward. If they can keep this going, I say it's a big if.
Yeah, I remember when they went to the last World Cup, and as Lotfi would say, they were full of bodyguards. Really, there wasn't much to watch there.
No,
but to be honest, this time around, they're actually a side that's really exciting to watch. A side you can imagine causing problems for even a very good European team. They've got Victor Moses Simon, Igalo, then Mikel always performs, Ndidi. So they've got really good core players there. Their defense is a little bit weak, but I really liked watching Leon Balogun. He's really come on last year.
Absolutely.
So they've really got a good core, I think, that's coming through at the moment, and they can really I think Roy is a very sensible coach. He will never do anything crazy tactically, but he will really allow them. I say anyone have asked, I think, who have asked, who do you fancy, who do you want to go to the World Cup to represent Africa as a continent? They say Nigeria, because it's a no-brainer. They play good football. They've got exciting players. They'll be a good watch, and they just won't. You can't imagine them having like 3 shocking performances. I would fancy them to go in a second round. If they're in a good group, I would fancy them to exit that group.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite surprised as well, because I mean, Gernot Rose is exactly the sort of manager I don't really like seeing in Africa. The ones who sort of knock about a load of kind of middling countries and kind of do quite a crap job for a bit and then move on. And I mean, so I'm glad I'm kind of quite surprised, and he's proved me wrong in that sense. And it's just, and like in many ways, this was like probably one of his most difficult jobs. He's actually got to sort of stick around and kind of get these players to gel. But he's done a wonderful job, and it's really great to see. I mean, I'm not really quite old enough or have a good enough memory to quite remember what they were like when they were good, to be honest. Like back in the day. So it's nice to see.
Yes, I think personally that it's good to see Nigeria back, because when you have an African powerhouse and an African giant of African football back, but to their best, I think it's good for them, and even for African football in general, because it pushes other countries to be better, to reach their level, and I think they have this core of players, and they have changed their policy. They are now targeting some players who are playing for England, the off teams, like I don't remember his name, but he decided, I think, Ola something. He was playing
I know.
Play for Nigeria. You have also, they are targeting also some players who are from Nigerian descent, and with this blend, I think it could be a perfect mix, and they could go fast. Say Salim, I think in a good group at World Cup, I think they can go in second round. It would be, for me, it would be the safest African bet. You know, if you had to bet on an African team, I think it would be Nigeria, and they have a good coach also. They have Gernot Rohr, who is pretty good. You know, he's not a genius. He's not a Marcelo Bielsa, but he's doing simple things very easily. He's doing simple things pretty easily. So he's doing the simple things at the simple moment. So it's fair enough to succeed in African football, and it's good to see him because it's good to see him doing well at Nigeria because he's a very good man. He knows very well African football, you know, and so it's very nice for him and for Nigerian people. While their bitter foes Cameroon are completely, and I won't say that I am sad or I will have blood, tears of blood are sinking, obviously.
Yeah, and at this rate, I think Nigeria are the only African team from last time that, unless Ivory Coast make it, but they could be the only African team that qualify for this. They're at least the only African team that will qualify with some players, like, you know, quite a big chunk of players still from the last time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We'll as big.
Look at it shows how competitive it is.
Sorry?
Me or him? I was just saying that I'm glad that we get a variety because it shows how competitive it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think definitely from my, you know, and I'm not one of those people who wants continental representation, but it's also good to see kind of Tunisia or Morocco making it as well, just for I think difference in style, maybe more aggression, but just different teams making it, apart from the same old 3 or 4. I mean, Cameroon were disgraced last time, really. You know, they were a waste. They were a waste of.
They deserve to be banned from all future World Cups.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'll see.
Alex Song never play again.
Yeah, I'm so delighted that he's never played for Cameroon. So that's my biggest achievement, my biggest pleasure. That's the only good thing that's come out of that World Cup is Alex Song never playing.
Yeah. And Ghana, I mean, Ghana was the same. They did that good performance against Germany, but apart from that, really, again, another disgrace.
They were pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, if Morocco get there, am I right in thinking that'll be his first World Cup, Renard's first World Cup?
Yeah, that will be his first World Cup.
I mean, that's great. He deserves to be a World Cup as much anyway.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
And for Cameroon, I think yes, it's. I think the fraud has been unmasked, as I tweeted just after the double encounter. Even if we all knew that it was because it was a trap team, because they are trap actually. I think I won't say that I'm happy to see them not qualifying, because I will be after that I will be insulted of being Cameroonophobic or another formidable term like this. I think they only got what they deserve. You know, they don't play football and they are rewarded for what they do, because as we said, the AFCON crowning was a proper miracle of God, a thing that which we would see as much as the Halley comet. So I think yes, they only got what they deserve, and the AFCON win was just a smokescreen to mask the real mediocrity of their football, either locally or either overseas. You know, they don't have any more of those super players like they have Samuel Eto'o, Patrick Mboma, etc., Jeremy, etc. So yes, they are paying the price, I think, for let's go find say for 6 or even a decade of lamentable appointments of a non-existent technical direction in their federation, a formation of players. Even I wonder if even if we can call that a formation of players. Yes, they are paying the price, and I hope, but I think I'm preaching in the desert as usual. I hope it can open the eyes of their federation, but it's not. I think it won't happen because they want only the result and nothing more. They want short-term result, and the rest can fuck off as we say.
Yeah.
So yes, they only get what they deserve, and I hope. I think the next game is Nigeria Zambia. I think Nigeria will win, and it will be a totally deserved qualification, and I think it would be there are 2 games left, but I think Nigeria will be the best team of the qualifiers at my eyes. Well, no matter even if there's a team which collects more points, I think on the field they are the team which show the best football in the qualifiers if we consider all the big boys.
Okay, I appreciate time's dragging on a bit, so we probably should briefly touch on Group C, which is
No, you're only in Group C?
Morocco, Gabon, Mali. Isn't it?
Have we only got through
Morocco,
2 groups?
Gabon, Mali. Sorry?
Have we only got through 2 groups?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've only got two groups. Yeah, and
Half
we've already
an hour
been nearly an hour.
Thorough.
We'll briefly touch on Group C.
Yeah.
In the headline, Morocco over Mali and then drew 0-0 in Bamako. And another surprise at Ivory Coast beating Gabon and then losing at home to Gabon.
Yeah.
Mario Lamina on the score sheet. No, Southampton, of course.
Say
Ivory
Dumbia
Coast
was on the
running
score
into
sheet in the
trouble.
first game, by the way. I'd just like to point that out.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Seydou Doumbia scored 2 goals in the first game as well, which
Yes.
I'd like to point out.
Yeah. No, actually, they were
He's
two
still alive,
really,
I'm surprised.
there were 2 really good finishes up. Well, I watched the game, and they were really quality finishes actually.
He's 29. Like he's
I mean,
a remarkable man.
he can't really do anything else. He can't. His link up play is awful. But when he gets one-on-one with the goalkeeper, he just snaps and yeah, they were probably 2 of the best finishes that you will see on that match day. They were just excellent finishes.
Yeah, that's good. In the squad still.
Yes, he saved the. I think in the first game, I think till the 16 minutes, sorry, Ivory Coast were offering nothing, except individual brilliance and as usual, and it was formidable because as usual, as I said, I am challenging everyone to give me the last time. Ivory Coast offered a good collective performance. I think it was. I challenged, and I think we found that it was in AFCON 2015. Since then, they are offering nothing. It's only individual brilliance, Max Allen Gradel's run, Gervinho's run, or a long shot, or etc. Whatever, and it's absolutely disgraceful because they have this. They have, for instance, they have to do better. And also, they have this problem like Ghana. If you block their wings, they are absolutely silent. They only have their wings to create something because in the middle of the park, it's absolutely the creativity is close to zero. It's incredible. Because they don't have a proper playmaker and they are missing it like many teams. They are missing it to make the link between attacks and the middle and attack, so they have some problem of creativity and for Mali, I think Mali, yes, Alain Giroud's heads rolled over on the floor following the double encounter against Morocco. He said that he can't handle pressure anymore. So I wonder why he's still coaching football.
Why wasn't he sacked earlier?
Yeah, no, he was he resigned between huge brackets. He resigned. He gave them his resignation later, but actually many pushed for him to be sacked or to resign and to be fired. So he was yes,
Should have been binned
yes,
off
he
like
was.
after the Africa Cup of Nations. I'm amazed he survived.
Yeah.
Yes,
In Uganda.
another miracle. It was the second miracle of AFCON after Cameroon's title, actually. And Morocco, yes, Morocco are now. I think Morocco have. I don't know why, but I was pretty. I was pretty not confident, but I think now there's quite something which is appearing with this Morocco team, and I think they can beat if they have a decider, which is I think 90% sure they will have a decider against Ivory Coast in Yamoussoukro or Bouaké or Abidjan. Don't know where they play. I think they can beat Ivory Coast. To be honest, I think in Ivory Coast, even if it will be a big it will be the match of the last match day. I think yes, I think they can beat them, and why not? Because they look good and they should have won it versus against Mali in Mali who are by the way in shambles.
Yeah,
No great loss if Ivory Coast don't make it because
Yeah,
the crap and they
Yeah,
don't even have
actually,
big names
yeah.
anymore.
yeah,
Frank Kessié
Yeah,
is still.
I mean they've got a couple of
fighting,
good players, but they're just not gelling as a team, and I don't think Wilmot is the right player. I mean they've probably actually got worse since Dussoyel was in charge, and that's saying something. It's quite saying something because he's playing probably all the best individuals. Like you can't say okay, maybe apart from Adama Traore, who's awful. The rest of them are, you got Bader, you got Aurier, Seri, Kessié. So it's a decent team, which you say okay should gel together the team, but it's just there's no structure to it. Whenever they face any team which is gonna put men behind and counter attack, you just see there's not much organization there, which they did have under Harvey Renard, but they don't really have anymore.
Yeah, it was just remarkable, really, that it's especially the same for Mark Wilmot as it was for Belgium. He's got a decent squad with decent players. They just don't know what they're doing. It's so unbelievably frustrating. These sort of managing appointments cropping up. He's just useless. There's no point to him. He's not going to achieve anything. He's going to be there for 2 years, not do anything, and then leave, and then they're going to point someone else. And it's just as Herb Renard proved, it's just a case of getting people in the right order who know what they're doing and interested in playing for Ivory Coast. And the team are perfectly, they're not the best team now, but they've got a perfectly decent one.
Yeah, I really liked for that decider where like Reynolds going to have to go to work and probably have to win the game. But that was just going to really be interesting to see the contrast between a very organized team. The only thing with Renard is he can be a bit too, I don't know how he's going to be in a game where he has to win it, which actually favors Ivory Coast. That's going to favor them because actually he's not going to go there and then defend. But if they were to lose that game in Mali, in Bamako, which they can, given the way they're playing at the moment, and Mali are going to have a new coach who hopefully isn't going to be as bad as Gires. That's going to... If they lose that game and then have to win in Bouaké, Ivory Coast, that's going to be a real headache. They were going to have to rely on individual quality rather than the system itself. But on this, they really don't deserve to go to the World Cup because if they go to the World Cup with Mark Wilmot, they just aren't going to do much.
Yeah. It would just be embarrassing. It would just be that annoying thing where there'll be so much focus on Ivory Coast as well, and the fact that it's Mark Wilmot's managing them, and they've got loads of star players, and Jean-Michel Seri plays, and it'll just be really uninteresting. As you got Morocco there, they'll give a good performance.
Yeah,
I mean, their players are, they're not terrible. I mean, but they're a good, solid group of players who can actually do something and play with enough discipline that will see them through.
And I think Moroccan. Well, I was in Morocco before, like a couple of days before that game, and the interest in the national team isn't that huge. Not in Casablanca anyway, but in that match in Rabat, actually, the turnout was probably the most impressive I've seen in a Morocco game for years, maybe 5. I mean, that stadium was packed. They don't play very often in Rabat, So that was really. I think that showed that there's some belief in the team, and they won 6-0 against the Mali team that rarely concedes, really,
Yeah.
which is seriously impressive. And I think Hakim Ziyech, he made a real difference because we saw them at AFCON where they had Buhaduz, who was rubbish, absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, they were really poor going forward, weren't they?
Kind of like a typical Harvey Renard forward, tall and good in there. But then Ziyech, I think he fell out with Ziyech at AFCON, so he didn't pick him. But he's kind of noticed his mistake now, and you could see the difference in the way they played with Ziyech's quality in attack.
Yes, and I think personally that there's kind of competition between Ivory Coast, Algeria, and Ghana on who will appoint the worst coaches in the last who will appoint the worst coaches. Because if you look the appointment the trio has done, it's absolutely remarkable. You had some people who even in their dreams wouldn't have thought that they would be on the bench. You had Alcaraz, George Likens, you have Kwesi Appiah twice who has been given a chance. You have Avram Grant. You have guys like this, and it's quite a competition between them on who will appoint the worst coach. And yes, it's pretty sad because as said before, the material is there. Especially for instance, Ivory Coast, you have Eric Bailly, who is a formidable defender. Sergio, if he has a good temper, he could be one of the best. You have Jeremy Boga, who could be interesting also. You have Franck Kessié, you have players like this. But also you have for Ivory Coast, I think they are missing a proper playmaker, because yes, it's okay to go on the wings and to have those two rockets like Max Gradel or Gervinho running mad at running on everyone. But I think it's pretty simple, on the middle of the park they are creating nothing, and it's pretty sad because the quality is there. As you said, you have a goal poacher like Wilfried Bony or even Seydou Doumbia. So yes, it's pretty. They have to find a solution to this problem, to these problems, and I think a World Cup could be more could harm Ivory Coast more than they could it could help them, because it would mask their real problem and they wouldn't ask questions on their real problems, and so yes, I think yes.
Also, credit to Gabon for actually winning that match without Aubameyang.
Yes, he had. He refused because he refused himself the call-up of Gabon for between brackets, between quotation marks. So for personal problems, basically to focus on his club career or another politically correct and other bullshit like this. Personally, I find this absolutely disgusting and ridiculous because for me you can't refuse, and you can't refuse your country's call. It's your country who is playing, and it's more important than the club. Even if the club pays you daily, I think the country over everything. And to be honest, I won't say it's not surprising, but there are some Gabonese player who decided to play for Gabon in a very particular fashion. I think I thought I talked about this in the previous podcast. So yes, I think it was disappointing from Aubameyang, who is the star, etc. But they weren't this bad actually without him, because they didn't have to play for him like when he's there, and they managed to snatch a victory in Bouaké. Yes, it was in Bouaké, I think, against Ivory Coast, and throw the group wide open.
So group.
Yeah, a shout out by the way for Axel Ndong, who was really good. Axel May, he led with the line really well because he was just one of those unknown players. I think he's only 22, and it was one of his first appearances for Gabon, and he was playing alone in Bouaké, he scored a goal, and then he really kept Bailey and who was his partner? I think it was Bailey and Cannon.
Yeah, they were.
Really, he kept them really busy that day, and he won lots of fouls, wasted time, which I know isn't great, but when you're like a weaker team, it's okay. He just kept them really occupied, and he scored the goal, and he was probably man of the match.
Yes, they were. Yeah, yes, they were busier than a one-arm replay in Baghdad, as we see.
Group D then, as mentioned earlier, Cape Verde picking up 6 points, 2 good wins over South Africa, who had previously won both of their games, although, they'd won one of their games and drawn the other, but now, of course, South Africa's win over Senegal has been annulled due to Joseph Lamptey getting, I think, has he been banned for life?
Yes.
But now this brings Burkina Faso back into play, and possibly Senegal as well. Now, they both drew both their games. They equalised with Burkina Faso at home in the second one. It's very tight. It's 6 points Burkina Faso and Cape Verde, 5 for Senegal with a game in hand, and South Africa 1 with a game in hand. If South Africa win that, then it is really tight. Senegal possibly now moving into pole position.
Yeah, I'd probably say so. I mean, like if they beat South Africa in their extra game, they've got they'll be 3 points clear of. Yeah. 2 points clear. Sorry. I mean, beating Cape Verde won't be easy, but they've got 2 games against the weakest team. Someone would imagine they're going through. And to be honest, I think politically, who I wanted to see go to the World Cup, I'd probably say Senegal. I think they're probably in the best place.
They got the together because we want to see Banse at the World Cup.
We'll get on to him, but I think Senegal are. They've definitely obviously got one of the best squads in the whole continent. For long periods in Gabon, they were the best team. Like, they absolutely ploughed through their group, and they did play very well. It wasn't out of luck, and it's just a bit of the weird hoodoo whatever happened with Cameroon later on and knocked them out. But it'd be great to see Cisse, the manager, as well there. Not just see a load of African teams being led by Europeans. It'll make a bit of a difference, I think, to the sort of feeling, and kind of hopefully show a bit more African FAs to trust their own coaches. But I mean, I like that. I mean, obviously, my heart is going out to Burkina Faso to see our boy Banse. But then again, if Banse goes to the World Cup, he becomes mainstream, doesn't he? And we don't. You don't want that. Of course, we don't want that. We want our quirky little thing that is just ours. So.
You don't want anyone to know
gigs that we could get,
but you don't want anyone to know who Bloody Toure is, right?
It's a guru. Remember him? Right?
Yes. There's so many. I mean, even at the moment, there's a guy called Ouattara who plays for Wydad in Morocco. There's just so many absolute random players in this Burkina Faso team, and you do feel if they go to mainstream, what is going to happen to them? I don't think we want that. Yeah.
Yes, I think Burkina Faso would be seen in a similar way to how Togo and Angola was seen.
Yes, the players are better technically. I think the players of Burkina are better. And concerning the group, I think the country which missed the biggest opportunity, I think it's South Africa actually, because they had the schedule. They had to play Cape Verde, and they managed. They achieved it. It's quite an achievement to lose home and away against Cape Verde. Cape Verde, who are not progressing since 2013. And I think for me, they threw the ticket for World Cup from their hands to the toilets. I think because it was pretty easy. They had to basically they had to do everything to avoid the decider in Senegal, and they would have qualified, I think. But now they put themselves in a tough situation, and even if they have the game against Senegal, and I think the game against Senegal, after all these problems, because it was quite a dark week for South Africa. You know, they lost home and away against Cape Verde, and this decision to replay this controversial game against Senegal, and I think it was the worst week of South African football since a while. And I think yes, even if the game will be replayed, then you know South Africa have this style of play, these fast counter attacks, you know, to create problems to every big side. They have this style, but they have problems, you know, to break down teams, you know, and we saw that with Cape Verde. Cape Verde, I think, had 2 or 3 chances, and they put them in the net in both games, I think. And so yes, it will. It's I think it's South Africa are the biggest through themselves a big chance to go to the World Cup, because on the other side I saw the double encounter between Senegal and Burkina Faso. I think I have been pretty disappointed by Senegal. You know, they didn't manage.
Yeah. Actually, you know, I even thought from that watching, I'm having doubts about Aliou Cisse, because I mean his lineup and just the way he had that team out, it wasn't right. There was something they didn't play well. The Senegal, we saw, maybe he's a tournament manager where he gets a group of players and they come alive during that tournament. But since the AFCON, his team haven't really been beating teams they should be beating. Now Burkina Faso are quite hard to beat, but I mean even in Dakar they were very underwhelming. I thought they didn't create any chances. Sadio Mane, he didn't get the best out of him. The Mane that we saw at AFCON, even the Mane we saw at even Liverpool, it was a different Mane completely. It's like he wasn't playing at all. And then Keita Balde was on the bench. He didn't play him for some reason, but he came on in the second half. Then Kouyaté was playing defense.
Linked with a move. Was he possibly not playing him because he'd had his head turned?
Yeah.
No, he was on the bench. He was on the bench for them.
Yes, I mean though, I'm not putting him straight in the team because.
He's pretty much the best player,
point, hasn't he? So
yeah,
but he was in the team, and for both games he was on the bench. So I don't know why he didn't actually play. He did put him on in the second half, but it seemed kind of too little, too late. And he just seemed to have disrupted that balance that was quite good. For example, their midfield was really good with Idrissa Gueye and Cheikhou Kouyaté, and then that's the midfield that's so hard to get through. But he seems to have not be playing them together anymore. So I don't know what's going on there, but they just don't seem as fluid as they used to be.
Yes, and also it's worth to note that Senegal played their double encounter against Burkina Faso. In the majority of both games, I think they played against a 10-man Burkina Faso, and as Said Salim, it's quite overwhelming to see them getting 2 draws, especially the one in Dakar. And and I think they are still arch favorites to get the ticket, but now everything is thrown wide open, and now
actually I think they'll probably perform better in a World Cup environment where they're not a major team and people don't expect them to attack.
Definitely.
If they're playing,
I think Senegal come with Mane, and because Mane is such a high profile player now, I think people will come to expect them to be best African side by Nigeria, assuming Nigeria qualifying.
Yeah, they will be the best African side, but I mean, just teams won't. It's not like Africa where teams will sit back because they know it's Senegal, and they'll say, "Come and attack us." But with
it depends on who they draw. If they draw, like
let's say they draw England. Let's say they draw England. England are not going to sit back and say, "Okay, Mane is a good player," but they're not going to sit back and say, "Oh, there's Mane on the team."
The way England play at the moment, I wouldn't bet on them doing anything offensively. You know,
exactly.
Apart from offend the entire nation of England by being so shit. Yeah, I suppose we probably shouldn't talk about England, but as I said, it depends on who they play, who they get, because
It
if
does
they get
depend.
a Latin American, a Central American side or an Asian side, actually sit back a bit more. And
I don't think they'll sit back. I mean, Mane is a good player, so the teams will be wary of him. But I think the team in general, people will be like, oh, they're a good team from Africa. But let's say they face Mexico. Mexico are going to be, well, we've got good players of our own. We can attack them as well. There's going to be more space either way to attack than there is in Africa, where, like Burkina Faso had a lot of people behind the ball. And they just expected to play the counter-attacking game.
They should sit back because they'd be bloody effective counter-attacking side.
Yeah, that would be very effective, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is actually that the point for Senegal also then applies to Burkina Faso, because Burkina Faso have some very interesting attackers who aren't always able to express themselves in the way that other teams play against them. I'm thinking people like Bertrand Traore, Alan Traore.
Yeah.
You could say off the bench, you're going to keep using him like that. There's going to be space. What's happened with, I notice Petroip is still not being picked. Is he still injured?
No, I think he might be injured.
Because he missed AFCON, didn't he?
Yeah, through injury. That was through injury. But I don't think they need him anymore as much.
Oh,
got Naku.
Yeah, not too old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose the problem Burkina Faso have at the moment is they still don't really have a huge amount of depth, do they? Looking through their options.
Who do you think qualify from this group? Because I think it's the most open group, is Group B, I think. Personally, I think it'll be.
It could be Cape Verde.
Oh,
I mean, it wouldn't be. Look, we can't. We don't want it, but we haven't talked about it, and inevitably, it's the ones that you don't expect, because we're not really considering the possibility that Cape Verde might make it.
I know nothing about Cape Verde. I never have done. I never will do.
Yeah, I think Cape Verde are one of those teams people underrate because they don't have any massive names, so to speak.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not great to watch either. I watched the game against South Africa, and it was two thunderbolts. It were two long range efforts, but they absolutely hit with it was Gary Rodriguez. He just lashed them in, and the keeper just didn't get anywhere near them, and that was it. 2-1.
They're pretty crap in AFCON as well.
They've always been really good at taking advantage of set pieces, I think, and that means they don't create many goals from open play, but they take their chances when they get them, and that's how they get points on the board.
Yes.
But they're basically an African pingless side, aren't they?
Yeah.
And now they will have to play. I think they will. The next game is at home against Senegal, and it could be it could be probably Cape Verde's biggest game ever, because they will end, I think, and they will end in Ouagadougou against Burkina Faso. So now they can hope, after a dreadful start, they can hope of a miraculous ticket for World Cup, and it would be, I think it would be the most unexplainable thing since in African football since a long time, with Cameroon's AFCON title, and yes, I think it would be another unexplainable thing, because where pound for pound they are extremely far. They are even extremely far from South Africa, for instance, because except Gary Rodriguez and the ghost of Ryan Mendes was been absolutely disappointed. He never fulfilled the hopes we had on many, and myself included, had on him. They don't have much quality players, but now they can dream about the World Cup, and now Senegal also can still qualify, but and Burkina Faso also, yes. But I think we will not hear the end of the controversy now, because because Burkina Faso and Cape Verde are going to court against FIFA's decision to replace South Africa game. So we'll have long days are coming and long nights are coming, considering this matter, because many didn't understand, because many tried to make believe people that the game was only because of a scandalous and bad refereeing decision, but they don't say that it was as it was written, it was match fixing, match manipulation, and it's completely different from a disgusting and lamentable refereeing error from this marvelous referee, which is who is Joseph Lamptey, and who had many, as long as China's Great Wall, disgraceful calls. So yes, and he has been also has been banned for life, I think. Yes, and we'll have many. I said we'll have many long days and long nights about this group. Yeah, either on the field or either in FIFA offices or even in CAS offices.
So the last group, Group E. One of the big shock results of this lot of qualifiers with Uganda beating Egypt at home. Another wonderful result for the Cranes. Unfortunately, Egypt beat them in the return game, so Egypt still the most likely to go through. Ghana look like they've blown it with a draw at home to Congo, where Thierry Bafuma game a year, which obviously had to be for Congo. Then in the reverse, Ghana actually won 5-1 with Thomas Partey scoring a hat-trick. But it looks like it's too little too late. I think Ghana pretty much have to win both their remaining games.
Yeah.
And hope that Egypt drop points to Congo as well, which seemed unlikely, considering they're playing them at home.
Yes.
Uganda have to beat Ghana, which is probably going to be a big ask. Beat Congo
It's
and hope
doable.
that Egypt trip up. It's possible, but I don't know. I fancy Ghana to get their act together and at least get a draw from that one.
In Uganda?
Sorry?
Yeah, I mean,
In Uganda, well, yeah,
I mean, Uganda. They've beaten Ghana before in Uganda, just 3 years ago.
they have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was pretty much the same team, and they've beaten Egypt. They're very hard to beat, even get a point off when they're playing at home.
Yes.
So it's doable. Yeah.
This is a pressure situation for Ghana as well, and they're infamously terrible in the pressure situation.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Yes.
for the good of the continent, I think Ghana need to not get through. Just for, I'm bored of seeing them.
Bored of seeing them and their pay disputes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just rubbish. I don't want to see some boring dispute about money. I'd much rather Egypt go. And Egypt, again, another team who would do probably quite well at a World Cup, I imagine.
And actually, Ghana, if they go, it's going to be the same coach as last time, which, yeah.
amazing, isn't it? How is he still in a job?
He's always.
I was thinking it's funny because he went to Sudan to manage for 3 years, and you think, okay, then we're going to stop hearing about this guy slowly, and it's going to be one of those. Or remember when Kwesi Appiah was coach of Ghana, kind of thing. I was saying it's a bit like seeing Roy Hodgson come back and manage England, or Steve McLaren.
Yes, the man completely and to be honest, you have Egypt. As you said, I think they should fight because they will have this almost a decider, because they will play Congo while knowing the result of Ghana against Uganda's game, I think, and they will have their hands also, and you have also this Egypt are playing very minimalist football. It's tough to see that, because they have the material to do better as many African teams, and it's very hard to see that. But and they are close to achieve something they haven't done since the last time they qualified. I think there was still the USSR. I think the USSR was still standing. Some crazy records like this, and for Ghana, yes, as you said, yes, they are still in officially they are still in it, but it won't be disappointing if they don't qualify. They have and again I'm rebounding on one of my comments I did in the past podcast. I think again Asamoah Gyan finished the international break injured. He has he managed to get another injury in his knee. I think it's time for him to clear the situation and to heal himself properly, because every single time he wins with Ghana, he gets an injury. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And even on the same on the same parts of the body, it's amazing. It's almost a record or something like this. And they won. They beat Congo, I think 5-1, something like this. Partey was very good. It's good to see him, because when I see him with Atletico Madrid, when I saw him, he was only there to enter in the 5 minutes to park the bus, etc., and to pass
To run, yeah. When you see him for
Yes.
Atletico, he's just running up and down.
Yes, yes, he was just there, and in Ghana, he's enjoying his time. He's playing real football. You can see that this fella has qualities, and that's good for him and for Ghana. And yes, and now it's Egypt tickets to lose, as we say, because they can even qualify, I think, in. On October, if Uganda don't beat Ghana and Egypt beat Congo, and yes, they can qualify. And there was the controversy, another controversy in Ghana football, where I think Jordan Ayew decided not to play the game because of a stomach bug or something like this. I wasn't aware that it could prevent you to have a stomach bug to prevent you from playing football, but it was surely a big stomach bug. And it created some controversy because he was then he arrived in Swansea, I think, and his coach said that yes, Jordan is very fine and he's training with the team very well, and he has recovered properly, etc. And even his brother decided not to play the game because it was almost a dead rubber, as we said, and in a certain way, like I would say, yes, Gabon, they didn't Ghana, like Gabon, didn't have those burdens, to
Yeah, I do
because
think
John Asamoah didn't play.
I do think in Africa we kind of indulge these players too much. We kind of make them even bigger than they are. I mean, someone like Andre Ayew, for me, I've always been mystified by why he's at least Gyan's done pretty huge stuff for country, but I mean even Gyan isn't really like a world-class player. He's never been a world-class player. Same for Andre Ayew. They're just good players. You can say they're good players, but they're not even very good players. They're not even excellent players. But they're treated like these huge players, and if they're missing, nothing can go ahead. And I think that just makes it go to their head. Someone like Jordan Ayew, he's one of those players I just never seem to get. I'll never get.
He's terrible. John Ayew is a joke. I loathe watching him play so much. I can't express it.
I don't find him bad personally, and he has a beautiful name. His name is Jordan Pierre Ayew. It doesn't goes at all with his first name, but it's beautiful. And yes, I said. In a certain way, it freed Ghana to play without those stars, and in a certain way, but it's quite early to draw conclusion. But in a certain way, you feel that they were slightly better, and it would have been an achievement to be crappier than in their previous than in the three first game of the qualifiers. So they were slightly better against a Congo team, which is a Congo team. Yes, I don't know what to say anymore about this, because they lost, I think, Fabrice Ondama on an ACL injury. They have Chevi Bifuma, who becomes Ronaldo 2002 when he wears a Congo Brazzaville jersey. And yes, and apart that, the rest is like Salim said, is a bunch of random players. You know.
You got Dore, right? For Clermont.
Yes, he's playing. Yes, he's a proper. He's a real. I should say, not. He's not quite a good player. He's pretty tall. He's huge. Actually, he's immensely huge. But apart that, you know, he's not pretty. But the rest isn't pretty good. You know, he's pretty huge, and the rest is a bunch of random players. So yes, they are not. And you know they don't have any youngsters also like compared to a moment of their history with the generation of 2007 World Cup. They don't have these youngsters anymore. So yes, they will fall in probably in darkness. And I don't know who is the team they managed to eliminate to reach this the group stages. If someone is kind enough to find who they eliminated to reach the group stages, I would warmly take it because they offer pretty nothing, you know, except Ondama and Bifuma, yes, and Ronaldo 2002 when he plays for for Congo Brazzaville.
All right, shall we wrap it up there? It's been an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've only had 2 viewers the entire time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got more qualifiers coming in October, and then in November for the final round. So after one of those, I guess we will do another roundup.
Yes, I think it will be this. Everything I would say 90% of the tickets will be decided on October for me.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? Bit of a blue balls finish.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us tonight, and thanks for all the viewers who have stuck with it. All 2 of you. One now. It's gone down. God, whoever it is.
It's okay. They watch it afterwards. I think they favor it on Twitter and then they watch on mass 100 people.
That's what we want. Yeah, that's fine by me. Okay, thank you for listening, and see you again.
Thank you. Bye.